Coming up, a small but significant step towards making the Springfield Central to Ipswich rail line a reality, the new East Ipswich train station construction underway, support for small Ipswich businesses during COVID tops $500,000, and what you should know about this week's Council Growth, Infrastructure and Waste Committee. It's Wednesday, October 7, 2020, and I'm Alan Roebuck. Welcome to Ipswich Today, which acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which it is produced and pays respects to elders past, present and emerging. This podcast is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. The historic final 3-year term in the Queensland Parliament is coming to an end as the state embarks on fixed 4-year terms. In the Ipswich area, Bundamba MP Lance McCallum has called for the upgrade of Bundamba train station and has launched an online petition. Ipswich West MP Jim Madden announced safety improvement works for the Mt Crosby interchange with the Warrego Highway, while in Ipswich, work has begun on a new East Ipswich train station. Jennifer Howard is the member for Ipswich and joins me now. Thank you for speaking with Ipswich Today, Jennifer Howard.
It's my pleasure, Alan. Thank you for having me.
With the campaign underway, what are people telling you are the big issues this election?
Well, it's a very strange year. It's been a very strange year for all of us. And normally at this stage of an election cycle or, people would be talking about things more broadly. But what I'm mostly hearing about is, border closures. People are concerned, they don't want the Premier to open them too soon. They're sort of nervous about that. People are concerned about the economy, but at the moment, particularly here in Queensland, because we've sort of managed our health response so well, we are, economically, we're not doing too bad.
There's been another small but very significant step towards making the Springfield Central to Ipswich rail line a reality after the corridor was first proposed in 2006. Why do we need a business case when the corridor has already been set aside and population growth is certain to happen in line with predictions?
Yeah, Alan, that's a good question. We need to do this strategic business case because of the growth, believe it or not. There's been so much growth in that area. It's a very different place to the place that it was in 2006, but you're right, there is a gazetted corridor there. There's a number of new factors, though, that have to be taken into account, and I'm really pleased that we were able to secure this $1 million in funding to do that. It's all a step closer to getting that train line. I'd like to see the federal government listed as a priority project for infrastructure. As you say, we have, unprecedented growth in this region, and I'd be very surprised if any region's growing much faster.
Staying with trains, work is underway at the new East Ipswich train station.
Yeah, we've got lots happening at our train stations, which is lovely. I was actually at Ipswich train station this morning just chatting to commuters as they caught the train. It's always a good way to get a gauge for what's really going on locally. But at East Ipswich train station, we turned the sod a couple of weeks ago for the works to commence. There has been quite a lot of early works that have been done over the last 12 months. You don't see a lot from the outside, but there's a lot going on in terms of planning. And it was I was very delighted to be able to turn the sod on that great project. But tonight and tomorrow night, I do just want to let residents around the area know that there will be night works carried out on that project from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on the 7th and 8th of October. So, we've chosen it to do it then. There'll be some foundation screw piling, which will be drilling. So hopefully it won't interfere too much with residents.
State government support for small businesses in Ipswich during COVID now tops $500,000. What does this mean for local businesses and how can they access support?
Yeah, these Accelerate grants have just really hit home to a lot of our small businesses. I've been around to talk to many of the businesses that have received them in my electorate, but in my electorate alone, Alan, 85 small businesses have been able to access these grants of up to $10,000. It's a total of $740,000 in this area has been injected back into these businesses, and they all the businesses are doing different things with them, but I think a common theme is people have updated their technology. They've used the money to update their websites, just to change the way they do business. And that word that you so aptly use, pivot, a lot of these small businesses are pivoting and they're using technology differently. They've used this grant to help them do so.
I don't know if it'll be the Macquarie Dictionary word of the year, but it could be the most used word of the year. The pivot, yes, indeed.
Possibly. But between you and I, we're doing our best.
We keep hearing a lot about electric vehicles, and they are the future, looking to Europe and other overseas countries, and smart vehicles to help you drive. Things are actually moving forward in Ipswich. I think there are now 500 privately owned vehicles hooked up to talk to sensors in streets, and I believe you've had a go.
I did. So when we made the announcement a month or so ago, I had the great pleasure of driving a Lexus vehicle. Lexus is supporting this project, of driving a Lexus vehicle that was one of these connected vehicles. So there's 30 intersections across Ipswich that have been sort of upgraded with the technology. And what these vehicles are doing is they're learning from the driver how to think, how drivers are thinking, and they're also learning from just from the traffic and from the flow. It's quite fascinating, and driving one of these vehicles is very exciting. I really am looking forward to electric vehicles being more affordable for everyone.
Can you take us inside the car when you were driving? Did you have your hand on the wheel? Did you use the brakes?
You do.
What difference did you notice?
Well, they want you to do that because the car's learning from you, the vehicle's learning from you,
right.
So you do have to be there. What was probably the most surprising thing, I guess is the right word, is that when you come up to one of these connected intersections, the car vibrates all around you, the seat vibrates around you, and all these things flash up to give you messages. So all of the data that's already gone in there is coming back to tell you what to do. So. Yeah.
And you still felt
it's a great trial.
You felt safe and 100% in control.
I felt safe and in control. In fact, sometimes when I see some of the drivers on the road, I think electric vehicles are much safer.
A big health project which is now underway at the Ipswich Hospital precinct is the construction of the new mental health unit. What will happen to the space vacated in the existing hospital buildings once they move in?
Yeah, that's due to be demolished probably about this time next year. Once the actual 50-bed mental health unit's up and running, it will be utilised by the hospital service. We need to expand that site as much as we can because as we talk about the population growth out here, in my few years as the local member, I've been able to secure over $146 million for that hospital, and that includes the 50-bed mental health unit, brand new one. It includes a 26-bed ward, and it also includes investigating moving all of the admin out of the hospital to another site so that we can free up that space to put even more beds in. So I imagine...
I was going to say, would it be fair to say then that the admin at the Ipswich Hospital, the high-rise building, that can be fully utilised for beds in due course? Yes,
that's the goal. We need to expand the site. It's the hospital is well located, in my opinion, but it is landlocked, and we need to make best use of that space.
Jennifer Howard, thanks again for joining Ipswich today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Alan.
Here's what you need to know about this week's Ipswich City Council Growth, Infrastructure and Waste Committee meeting on October 8. There's certainly a lot of lists to be considered for Council's next capital works portfolio, which means a wish list for a variety of projects for councillors to consider during the next budget process and beyond. These include cycle safety improvements, IGO active transport projects, sealing of gravel roads, drainage improvements, and EnviroPlan capital works. Also for the committee to consider, a regular update on court actions, including more controversial applicants, Land Tracker Jebrapilly, Cleanaway at New Chum, and Austin BMI at New Chum. The full agenda and all reports are available on Council's website. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. This podcast is also listener-supported. If you like what you hear, please make a once-only gift or regular donation to help keep it online. Just go to ipswichtoday.com.au and click the donate button at the bottom of the page. You can subscribe for free and share this podcast from your favourite app, including iHeartRadio, or play Ipswich Today from your smart speaker. Music is supplied by Purple Planet Music. This is Alan Roebuck. Thanks for listening.